Okay, so we're gonna make this figure in AutoCAD. But for this, we have to start in the very beginning. So looking closely at the figure, you can see some kind of symmetry all around it, right? You can even see that here's like the reference axis in here, right? Like right here in the middle of the figure. But we can also draw an x-axis in here as well, that it's in the middle as well. Now, what's the thing with this? We can check that the figure kinda looks the same from this plane here to this quadrant, to this one here, but also from 3 to 4 as well. But 2 and 4 are, let's say, symmetrical, 1 and 3 as well, also 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. But 1 and 4 are not symmetrical, neither 2 and 3. Why is this? Because there's a different distance and we can either work on one of the planes, maybe plane 1, this quadrant here, the quadrant 1, and we can mirror using the mirror tool, we mirror this part here in the quadrant number 2. And once we have both quadrant number 1 and 2, we can mirror them to get quadrant number 3 and 4. That's some good thing with the symmetry. Now, another stuff that we have to note is that there's this angle in here, 30 degrees, and 30 degrees in here as well. Well, the thing is that this angle is referred to the y-axis, and the problem is that by default you're gonna draw referring to the x-axis, This one is x and this one is y. So you know that there is this angle in here, right? 90 degrees. Also in here, 90 degrees. Here as well. And here as well. So what's the main idea? You have 90 degrees and the angle that you want to find is this one here. So you're going to make the subtraction. 90 minus and the angle here, 30 degrees. This equals to 60 degrees. So this angle is 60 degrees. And because 1 and 2 are symmetrical, the angle in here is the same, 60 degrees. But as I told you already, we can either work on quadrant 2 and then make a mirror to quadrant 1 and then both of them to quadrant 3 and 4, or vice versa. You can either work quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, and once they are mirrored, you can mirror both of them and get quadrant 2 and 4. It's all up to you. In my scenario, maybe I will be working between quadrants 1 and 2. After that said, let's go to AutoCAD. Okay, so now we are here on AutoCAD on a new file, and first thing first, if we look closely, right, you can see that there is this circle in here, 27.5. So we're gonna look out for the circle tool in here on the ribbon. We approach here, we click, we go to the drawing area, we click, and now we can set the size of the radius. We're gonna write down 25.27.5. We click enter and we have this little circle in here. Now to make this bigger, to fit the size of the screen, you have to double click the push button of the scroll wheel of the mouse, click, and now we have this feed to the drawing area. Now, what's next? We're gonna zoom out a little bit, and now we can continue drawing the next circle. If we check on the circles in here, we have that there is a circle radius 45. Let me actually bring it down here. Yeah, there's the 45. Now, I can see it more clearly, like the radius of this outer circle, it's 45. What we're gonna do is go to AutoCAD, right? And we can choose again the circle tool. We click on it, and as you see, it's on the same point, the center is on the radius. The center is on the same circle with a number of 27.5. So we click on it, and now we put the number 45, click enter, and that is the second circle. Now we can draw some reference line. For that, I'm gonna write xline or xline, as you might want to say, and I'm clicking here, and I'm going to be drawing one here. We forgot to activate the ortho mode, so we click on F8. Now it's just straight lines, one here, and as well another one here. So we click in here and turn into this position. That will be enter. Nice. We have the reference lines. We don't have to even worry more about that. So now let's go with another step. For our next step, we have already these two circles. Now, what can we see in here? We have these reference lines in here. You see? These reference lines referring to the center, and also there is the length, the distance, from the center of the main circle to these little circles is 60 units. And as you remember, there is this angle in here that if we check the edited is going to be 60 degrees, because we part from here from the x-axis and we go all the way here to 60. So what we have to do is just go here, click on line, and we go to the center part in here. Let's get a little closer, move it a little bit maybe. And once we have checked the line, we click here. And instead of just throwing lines randomly, we're going to write down the magnitude, 60, the angle symbol, and we're going to put 60. And that is where is the center located, We click enter, and that will be it. Now in here is the center of these little circles, but it's like two circles. We have one with the radius of 10 and one with the radius of 18. So going back to AutoCAD, we look for the tool circle once more. We click in here and we get to this part here. We click here in the center, click, and we write down the radius 10. And to repeat the action, we press enter again. We click here in the center again. And we write number 18. It's like when you have to make two circles, you're just gonna make the circle, then to repeat the action, click enter again, and you will be again with it, Now we can start deleting one of the quadrants. In this case, if you do remember, we have 4 quadrants, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. What's the main idea? We're working right now on the quadrant number 2. So we can delete quadrants number 1, number 3, and number 4. For that, I'm gonna be using this tool here, the trim tool. This one that looks like a scissor, We click on it. Now we click in here on the quadrant number 1. We hold it, and once we know that it has this this opacity effect, we click again and it's deleted. We click and see how it kinda gets a little lower opacity. Well, that means that it's going to be deleted. So we click in here and it's deleted. Click and click once more and it's deleted. Once we have deleted the 4 quadrants, we click enter and that will be it. We have the second quadrant, right? Now what's next? We see that there is this little thing here that says radius 5. You might be thinking, okay, maybe it's this thing, Let me draw just a little bit. Like the circle here, well, if you can consider a circle, and the circle in here as well, and there's this tangent line in here. But nope, that's not the case. The case is that we have this circle in here, right? Something kind of like this, but there is this like perpendicular line that is going to strike in here, and the circle that it says radius 5 is tangent between the big circle and the perpendicular line. So it's something like this. Oh, I kind of did it wrong, but you understand the main idea. So we have to draw the line. To draw a perpendicular line, because it's like this is symmetry, is going to be located in this part, not in here. So let's go in here and we go to line, we click in here, and in here on the snap mode, we click and the options, we go to perpendicular. Why this option? Because with this, we can actually draw a line that is perpendicular. So we click here and we deactivate the ortho mode and see how the line is actually drawing perpendicularly, like if to this line in here, because this is like a reference line and the perpendicular line is 90 degrees. So it's something like in here. We click on it, we gonna click again in here and see how it even shows where it's located in the big circle. We click on it again, and once it's done, we click enter, and now we can proceed with the little circle of radius 5. So we go in here, we have the circle, I'm gonna click in this part in here, the lower arrow, pointing down, we click, and we're gonna choose tangent radius. Why this? Because we're gonna draw a circle that it's tangent to this line, to this circle, and we know that it has a radius of 5, so we write 5 and click enter, and that is the tangent circle to both this line and this circle. We press escape, and I think now we can start trimming all this stuff. So let's go back to it, and here with the trim tool, we click in here, and we're gonna get a little closer. We're gonna delete this part here, click and click in here, right? Also, if we see the drawing, the big circle the 45 circle, 45 radius circle is gonna stay. Also the 27.5 is gonna stay as well. So we have to delete only this line in here. You're gonna get a little closer and we see that it only is gonna delete this part here. We click on it. Now we're gonna zoom out and we're gonna press escape. We can delete this, this line that is like a reference line, a perpendicular line. We click on it and we can even delete this one as well. We click here. Oh, well, no, actually, no. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep that for later. But first, if we check at the drawing again, once more, we see that the radius 18 circle is only being cut in here, but it's not going through all the 27.5 circle. So we have to trim that part as well. We're gonna back to the scissors, we click, and we're gonna cut in here, We click this part, and trim here as well. Now press enter and you might be asking, okay, but what happens with this side? Because it's like this curve in here, right? And if you see in here, this curve, if you go a little lower on the figure, it says radius 17. So it's another tangent radius circle, only tangent to the circle in here. It was radius 18, right? It's like this one in here is this one here, right? Is a part of another circle that is radius 17, okay? There's also something else that we can identify. If we go to the final figure with no annotations at all, we see that there's these little lines in here. See? This one here and this one in here as well. Now, if we check on the reference, we see that this in here say that is 8 units apart, but this like reference line that we draw in here will be like in the middle. So we'll be 4 here and 4 in here as well. So we're gonna get back to our drawing and we can use the offset command. For that, I will be selecting the line. I will write down OF and you see that the option offset is appearing here. We click and now I can specify the distance. I'm going to be writing 4, enter, and it's now going to offset either in this direction or this direction. So we click, let's say maybe in here, and now we're going to offset again from the middle to the right. Click and that will be it. Now we have to trim this part. Press escape. We can actually delete this one because it was like a reference line. We click and we press delete and we go to trim once more. So we click on trim and we can start trimming here, we click in here as well, here and here. And the thing that we only want to be left is this little lines here. Press escape and select these 2 lines and we're gonna press delete, and if we go in here we're gonna select these ones and delete as well. Now you see that these ones are like 30 degrees apart. If we check on the drawing, 30 degrees apart and 30 degrees here is like they're 60 degrees in here. You see, 60 degrees. What's the main idea? That it's, if we check on the drawing, the edited drawing, right? There is 60 degrees here, right? 60 degrees. There is 60 degrees in here, right? And the thing is that all around the 4 quadrants, we have 360 degrees. Now, if there's 60 in here, and because it's something symmetrical, we know that it's going to be from the center in here to the center of here. It's going to be 60 degrees as well. But what's the thing? This one here is in the middle of the x-axis, and as you remember, is 60 degrees as well. So it's like 60 degrees in here as well, but because it's symmetrical, there is also 60 degrees in here. So we have 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60, 60, 60 in here, and also we have 60 more in here and 60 more in here. So it's like 60 times 6, that's 360 degrees. It's some kind of a geometrical method you can do, but it will most likely be the answer to why it's 60 degrees. So it's fully symmetrical. Only these 2 lines. So we're gonna create what's called an array. We write down array, we click on it, and we're gonna choose the option polar. Now the center of the array, because in the drawing you see that it's all around this main point here that is by some coincidence the center of all the figure. We click on it and now you see that the lines, the array, right? It's like this. It's symmetrical, you see? And it's 6 figures, so it's like a coincidence as well. We click on enter and we can see that now it's an array. But what happens with this part of here? We have to draw first we have to make the mirror thing. So we're gonna select this here, we click, and we're gonna click here to we select this. We're gonna write down, you know what's called mirror, and we're gonna select the center in here. We take them up here, but we activate the ortho first with F8. We click, just no erase source. No, we're not gonna erase the source object. Instead, we're gonna draw another circle in here. We go with tangent radius, and we're gonna make it tangent to both this circle, and if you go back here, right, it says radius 17, something that we got from the circle in here. So we go in here and go 17, we press enter, and there is the circle. Now we have to trim for this last part. We have to start trimming. We click in here, and if you check on the drawing, it's something like in here, right? So we trim here this part as well, and we gotta trim this part of the 18 radius circle and this one as well. We click enter, and that will be like the upper half of the figure. Now to mirror this again, we're gonna click here and click here to select this part of the drawing, right? We're gonna write down mirror again, enter, and we're gonna choose from the center of the figure to some other part of here, maybe. We click here. Oh, sorry, because it detected the same point, you know. But let's go again. We click here, we click again, we write down mirror, we click enter, press enter, I mean. From center, we click, and now we can go like a little lower in here in such a way that it does not detect the same point, you know, because if it detects the same point, it will give us an error. So we click like in here, erase source object, of course, no, and now we have the figure. Now we can delete the reference lines like this one and this one with the delete button once selected, and now we have the figure. And to adjust the figure to the size of the drawing area, we double click the mouse scroll wheel button, and that will make the figure center and fit to the drawing area. If we check on the result, it's basically the same, even with this little part here of the radius 5 circle. And that will be it.